Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back, everyone. If you or maybe somebody you know leads a team, maybe you own a business, there's lots of things that you could be or should be doing to be a more effective leader and get more productivity out of that business. One of those things is well-being, a sense of well-being. And there's actually a number of things that come under that category that can help you facilitate that. Well, actually, she can help you do that because she's an emotional intelligence and leadership coach. She works with many CEOs, business leaders, and just the rest of us all the time. Nadine Zeinoun is back with us on the program. Nadine, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Steve?
I'm well. I'm well. I guess I have a sense of well-being. I'm not really sure. When we
I
say,
hope so.
yeah, me too. When we say well-being, how do you define that? What is well-being?
Well-being, if you want, in simple terms, okay, not to complicate things. In simple terms, it's the feeling good. So the process of feeling good, but not only feeling good. So we don't stop at the good feeling. It's also about being productive, being highly productive, and being able to be, giving your best. So when you combine these two together, then you have a good sense of well-being.
Is it that feeling of elation or positivity when you've accomplished a task? Maybe you've done a project and it turned out great. Everything worked well. Is that also part of well-being?
Absolutely. These are two components of well-being. The positive emotion is one component, and having the sense of accomplishment is another one. And we'll get into that in a moment. But I just want you to know, I want to state one thing to our audience and our viewers today. When people have good well-being, it means they kind of have the ability to navigate the highs and lows of life and work. Okay, so it gives them a sense of resilience, and they can thrive and flourish despite the challenges that they are going through in life. So that's why it's important for us to work on developing our well-being, and especially as leaders.
Especially as leaders, because you've got a lot of responsibility in you have other people that are taking your cue. So if you're navigating those waters and your ship is taking on water, not a good thing. You need to have a great sense of well-being. What's the starting point, Nadine?
Now, the first thing I want you to know is the impact of well-being on it's not only on our life, okay? So it's also on the way we work and the way we perform. So research shows that, people who have good well-being, they're much more engaged at work, okay? They're more productive, they have more job satisfaction, and they tend to leave their jobs, they're less likely to leave their jobs. So if I'm a leader, surely not only would I want to manage my own well-being, I would want to develop the well-being capabilities of my team, because they're going to be much more productive and they're going to give me better results when they have good well-being. So this is one point I would like to highlight and make clear to everyone who's watching us. And at the same time, where do we start? As you said, I personally work on, I believe that one of the best and simplest formulas for good well-being is the one that was developed by Professor Martin Seligman, who is a positive psychologist, and he developed this way back in the early 2000s, and it's called PERMA. Okay, so PERMA, it's 5 letters, and what does it stand for? The P stands for positive emotion. So the more we're able to generate positive emotion in our life and in our team, the more people will have good well-being. Okay, and why is that? It's not just because, I feel good. Now, Dr. Barbara Fredrickson did a lot of research around this, and she showed that positive emotion, she calls it the broad and build theory. So it broadens our mind. So it allows our brain to look at things in a very broad way. So we see things that we don't see when we are in negative emotion. And it allows us to take more risks. It allows us to be more open to new experiences, to challenges. And of course, when you are more open to these things, you will develop yourselves and you will grow. So, and then when you grow and you grow your skills, then, this gives you more positive emotion, and then, the wheel goes on. So that's why it's
This
very
is
important. Sorry.
the clarity is great here, because what you're talking about, when you have that positive emotion, you're seeing the big picture. You're seeing
Absolutely.
everything, as opposed to a lot of times if you're dealing in negativity, you close it down, you focus on a couple of things that you perceive to be bad because you're just in a negative mood, instead of seeing all of this out here that's going on, that, the world is in front of you. You can harness the power of it, control it the way you want to, go in the direction you want. But if you're not in that frame of mind, or don't have the right sense of well-being, now you're just looking at these things here, and obviously not in a good place and not being productive.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there is a time where you need to be in negative emotion, like during times of danger. You really need to narrow your focus there and just look at, how am I going to survive? Okay, what are the steps that are essential for survival?
I'm big on
But
analogies. I want to jump in because right you
yeah,
just
please.
this is what I'm seeing. Back in the old days of the Westerns,
Hmm.
when they were under attack, they would just take all the covered wagons and put them in a circle, and it's like hunker down, just what you're saying. And now we're only focused on this one thing. No predators or those trying to steal or whatever come in. I'm talking, just an
Yeah.
emergency here. But so I see what you're saying. Sometimes you need to hunker down, if you will, when the conditions permit. But that's you shouldn't be doing that all the time.
Exactly, exactly. And the more positive, of course, let's be realistic. We're not going to be in positive emotion all our life. Okay, so this is not realistic. Okay, that's if we do that, there's something wrong. Okay, so it's about being able to put yourself back into a positive emotion when you are going through a tough time, or when you are going through a challenge. To always be able, it's like you have a piggy bank, and the more positive emotion you put into your day, it's like you're saving them
Okay.
for the right time, so that you can use them to broaden your view, to broaden your mind, to broaden your brain, to be able to seek opportunities and, problem solve in a better way.
So that was the P, positive emotion. Yes.
The E is for engagement. And engagement, again, there's a researcher who looks at this in very much detail, who is Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, something like that. I don't know exactly how you pronounce the name. It's a difficult name, but his research is very nice, because it tells us that the more we are engaged in the work we do, and the more we have activities that we engage in fully, the happier we are. And what does engagement mean? He frames it as a sense of flow. So a sense of flow is when you're doing something that needs concentration. So it's not something easy. It's a task that needs concentration, and it needs you to be focused, but you're fully there in the moment, and you lose track of time. So I'm sure you have some, activities that you do during your day, or maybe, during the week, where you don't notice the time. How, oh my God, 2 hours just passed, and you're not aware of the time. Do you have something like that? Does something come to your mind, Steve?
Absolutely. And it's those things that you enjoy doing. And it could be even spending time with somebody. I was hanging out with somebody yesterday, and I'm look back today and I'm looking at it like, how did we kill all that time? And it didn't
Yeah,
even seem, because we were just having fun. Just
absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
usually when it's a positive thing, you enjoy what you're doing work wise. Day goes by, off. It's already time. It's quitting time, and usually you don't quit. At the end of the day, you're still thinking of it because you're enjoying, what you're doing. It's on your mind.
Yeah, yeah. And then it gives you a very big sense of achievement after you've done that. So when somebody at work, when people really engage in their work, and they get into flow in their work, then this gives them a big sense of achievement. And not only a sense of achievement, a sense of engagement that, of course, will enhance their well-being more. And the key here as leader is to try to get people into flow. And how can you help them get into flow? One very easy way, a couple of easy ways, is first of all, clarify their objectives. Because when people are clear on what is expected from them, and also give them tasks that are aligned with their strengths. So don't give me something that's too difficult for me to do. Give me something that is aligned with my strength and is challenging at the same time. So when you do that and you follow up with me regularly and you give me a sense of appreciation, all of this will get me to engage better in my work and put me in a sense of flow. And this, of course, will enhance the well-being of the people in the team.
Absolutely. Let's say you're somebody's creative and now your supervisor gave you a filing task. Sometimes,
You're not going to like that.
and it's even though it only takes an hour, it's going to feel like it's 5 hours because it's just not what you want to be doing. You're going to procrastinate. You're going to do whatever you can to put it off because, like you said, it doesn't align with your strengths and your talents.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So now are we up to R yet?
Yeah, we're up to the R. So that's positive emotion, engagement, and now the R is relationships. Again, you will have much better well-being when you have good quality relationships around you. Okay, and in the workplace, this is very important. So it's really important for you to feel safe around the people there. It's really important for you to feel connected and that you are accepted in the group that you are in. And there's a bunch of research around that, but all show that people who are are better connected and they have people around them that they can trust and they can lean on, then they have much better well-being, and they utilized this network when they are going through a down. And this really strengthens the well-being, the sense of well-being, and allows them to flourish despite the challenges that they have.
Now we're looking at this as an acronym, PERMA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are
Mm-hmm.
some more important than others?
Very interesting. I don't really know, but I know that relationships they're all very important. I've never seen a place where maybe the positive emotion is not as important as the meaning and the accomplishment, but relationships is also very essential. So I would say they're all equally important. And it's, well-being is not about like a magic pill. It's something that I do and I create very good well-being. It's a lifestyle that is that works around trying to have these different elements in your life. For example, maybe for you, Steve, for you, maybe positive emotion would be much more important than meaning. Okay, maybe for me, meaning is going to be more. So it varies depending on the person, but in general, overall, on the average, I believe they're all as important as each other, but there are individual differences for sure. So you might work on relationships because you find that this is the most important for you, and this is the one that really keeps you going and gives you that motivation to continue and persevere in whatever you're doing and in thriving. Whereas maybe for me, it's meaning. So I always seek meaning, and I look for meaning, and I look for a way to connect with a higher meaning, maybe, and that gives me a sense of well-being. So it does differ from one individual to another. And the key is to know which ones are important for you and to try to cultivate those in your life. But it's a lifestyle. Okay, so I can't just do one, go do an act of kindness and say, okay, this is going to give me meaning, or it's going to give me positive emotion and I'm going to have better well-being. No, it's about having the discipline to carry out these small tasks that create these feelings and engagement and relate on a daily basis in your life.
So relationships, I think we would agree, important. How do you, and you use the word cultivate before, how do we cultivate our relationships? We want to, have that sense of well-being. PERMA is important. What do we do to, on a regular basis? Is it reach out as much as you can? If you haven't heard from somebody, send them a quick text, email. What are your thoughts?
That is one way, and it's very effective. So stay in contact with people, of course. That's the first thing. And reach out to people if you're in a workplace. Reach out to people around you. Connect with them on a personal level. So I would say all the episodes that we had before on emotional intelligence play a big role here. empathize with people, don't judge, create that safe space with people, listen to them, help them out without seeking anything in return, like real, pure giving. Okay. So all of these allow you to connect very nicely with people. And this creates a sense of belonging for the person on the long term. And of course, this really enhances the feeling of relationship and that feeling of well-being that comes with it.
Is there, and I want to put the microscope on this one little point with the relationship. Is there something you would suggest in terms of what to text, what to say? I feel a lot of us, maybe we're sitting back saying, all right, so what do I do? I haven't connected with this person. What are your thoughts there? Just to like we say, reconnect with people. Anything stand out for you?
I mean, what I like to do is just ask about them, see how they are, how they're doing, if it's been a long time since I've heard of them, rather than immediately thinking, oh my God, these people don't care about me. Why didn't they call me? Why didn't they reach out, etc. Instead of going into that negative flow of thinking, on the contrary, be curious about, what could have stopped them from reaching out for so long, and let me check on them and make sure they're okay. When you check on people and you show them that they care, that you care, this really impacts them, especially in these times, because people are not showing any more much care towards each other. So when you do that, this makes a big difference to the other person.
And you know what? It makes you feel good too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And especially when you notice the impact you had on them. So when they come back to you and say, oh my God, it's so nice of you to ask about me, etc. So this gives you this, so here you're doing two things. You're creating positive emotion through doing an act of kindness, and at the same time, you're strengthening a relationship. So you're working on two factors from the PERMA, not just one.
Final thought on all of that, and then we'll move on to the M.
Mm-hmm.
I'll look at social media and I'll be mindful of things. I haven't reached out to Jim in a while. Oh, we just took a skiing vacation holiday, whatever. And just as a starting point, hey, I saw you. You don't even have to say you saw it on social media. It's kind of a, assumed. Hey, I saw you were skiing on, in a remote location or something like that. Did you have a great time? Just checking in, just so it looks like you're connected to them by some.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, absolutely.
So PERMA, the M, what does that stand for?
The M is having a sense of meaning. And this is very important because we all seek meaning in life. It's one of the basic needs that we have. Relationships and meaning, both of them are really important needs for human beings. So we do want to feel like we make a difference, like we're really contributing to the environment we're in, to maybe the family that we are in, to the company we're in. So it's important for us to have that sense of purpose or meaning or passion.
Okay.
And this is where, again, a leader can help and support their people to have that sense of meaning. And they can do that by always being, giving them feedback a lot, okay, appreciating them and showing them how, the things that they did well, how they contributed to the success of the project or of the team, etc., always linking them together. This makes a person start connecting and feeling the meaning that is coming out of the things that they do, the tasks, even if it's a small task.
Is that the same thing as sense of purpose?
Yes, they are very similar. It is a sense of purpose. Now, sometimes some people think that maybe purpose might be, more transcendent. So it's you connecting to a higher purpose in life or a higher meaning in life. That's also something that we also need, but it differs from one person to another in terms of which ones they focus on. Some people just want, this small meaning in the small actions that they do. Some people are always trying to connect with a higher purpose, but both are very important for giving us a good sense of well-being.
That gets us to, I would believe, the A in PERMA. Is that right?
Yes, which is the accomplishment, having a sense of accomplishment. So having a sense that you have achieved, you have accomplished You did what you set out to do. And here, what helps a lot is those who have a positive, a growth mindset. Sorry, not a positive, a growth mindset. I don't know if you are aware of Carol Dweck, who is a professor at Stanford. She talks a lot about having a growth mindset versus having a fixed mindset. So a growth mindset is when people believe that you can grow, you can develop, your brain will grow new skills if you set your mind to it, if you practice, if you try, if you put the discipline of working hard to achieve that. Whereas people with a fixed mindset think, I'm born like this, I can't develop myself, etc. So when people develop a growth mindset, this also helps them to develop a lot of accomplishments, or to accomplish a lot of things in life, because the way they look at their mindset is, they set challenges for themselves, they prioritize developing the skills needed to get that challenge. They don't give up when a mistake happens or when failure comes their way. They take that as a learning and keep on going. All of this growth mindset is very important to develop if you really want a good sense of accomplishment. They go together. And this is really important for a leader to have, and also to encourage in the team, in his team or her team.
How do you adopt the growth mindset? Is it just belief that you can, or having the faith that you can improve or move forward?
Surely that's one of the things, because usually people who have a growth mindset, they do feel that they can, and believing that we're not fixed. We work, hard work brings results, and also, I guess, trying to do that, putting yourself in a discipline where you try to do that, and then you observe how things are happening, and you are growing and you are developing as you are putting more effort into it and more focus. And also, when a mistake happens, when you make a mistake, not to beat yourself over that mistake, but rather look at the mistake as a learning opportunity, and really grow from that. So ask yourself, okay, so what is that mistake telling me?
Mhm.
Where's the potential to grow? Where's that gift that lies in this mistake? And this is something very essential for the leader to do with their employees. So if an employee, a lot of leaders say, oh yeah, I know mistakes are, growth for us, etc. They say that, but they don't do it. When a mistake happens in their team, they start blaming, they start shaming, and blaming and shaming is a fixed mindset. That's not a growth mindset. So a leader needs to be aware, are they really living these quote unquote beliefs that they want? And that's how they develop that growth mindset around them. Mistakes and failure is a big thing around developing that growth mindset, because it's very easy for us to fall into that trap of, I'm nothing, I'm useless, this will never happen, I cannot do that. It's very easy for us to fall into that trap and start blaming others or blaming ourselves, etc. So a mature leader is aware of that, and they don't go into that aisle or that track of blaming. They stay focused. They allow the person to take this as a gift or as an opportunity to learn, and then they set the next steps. Look forward. We say feed forward rather than feedback. So they're forwarding the action towards how they can better themselves and develop themselves so that they can achieve what they want to achieve.
It's so true, Nadine. When I think of those who I admire,
Mhm.
and there's been setbacks along the way, and their business career, whatever it might be, um, they just keep moving. It's just they may get a little frustrated, but it's just like, just keep moving forward, and learn. There's I believe things just don't happen. There's a synergy, and that's why things take place. So learn from them. You know,
Yeah, absolutely. And in life, we're going to fail many more times than we're going to succeed. You try like maybe 100 times before something really works out and is really, something worth saying, this is really a big success or whatever. So most of the times you try things that don't work out. But it's okay, because every time you do that, you're one step closer for things to really work out. Because
Exactly.
you learn that this doesn't work. You're going to, put it aside and then move forward to another step.
And if you're marinating in the negative, you're never going to move forward. You're not going to have that big picture, and you're just going to be focusing on those negative things and not, I guess, because comes back to the beginning.
Yeah,
well-being.
absolutely. Absolutely. We go into the negative whirlpool, which is going to put us in a negative or unpleasant emotion,
Right.
which is going to narrow our mind, and then we can't get out of it.
Good talk today. A lot of great insight, and all of it is so important if you want to succeed or even lead a team. And for those of us that need some help with that, need to kind of unpack some of these things and understand them, your website, is it your name? I'm trying to remember. It is, right?
Yes. It's www.NadineZeinoun, NadineZeinoun.com. And there's one page where they can book in a call, a free call, of course, so that I can support them to create whatever they want to create.
What you said before, and I don't remember the stats, but Michael Jordan, great basketball player, he failed so many times in trying to take the right shot. It's almost, when you look at the numbers, and I don't have them here in my mind, but a huge amount of failures before he started getting on track to where he is now. Yeah, just expect it, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Thomas Edison, it took him, I think, more than 100 light bulbs before the light bulb really, worked out for him.
Yeah.
And remember that it's difficult, because you're going to hear a lot of shaming from people, and people are going to try to make you feel like, you're useless, or what is this? And they're going to make fun of your idea. So when you have good well-being, and this brings out good self-esteem when you have good well-being, so you will be able to say no to all these, negative talk, and really focus on what you want, so that you can move forward despite the mistake, and take it as a learning.
Excellent. Nadine, great talking with you today.
Same here.
Look forward
Thank
next time.
you so much, Steve.
Yeah.
Okay, take care.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps, or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.